Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
જેને અમેરિકાની ધરતી ઉપર આજે પણ મૂકીને 50 વર્ષની જર્ની થઈ છે. વિધાઉટ બેંક બેલેન્સ, ઝીરો બેંક બેલેન્સ સાથે જે માણસ આવ્યો હતો, પંજાબ યુનિવર્સિટીનો ગોલ્ડ મેડાલિસ્ટ જે વ્યક્તિએ 20 વર્ષની એજે અમેરિકાની ધરતી ઉપર ખૂબ મળ્યો હતો અને આજે મોટું સામ્રાજ્ય જણાવ્યું છે. અને એમનો ગોલ છે એ રાણાજીવન અહીંયા છે. અમેરિકાના મોટા ભાગના શહેરો જ્યાં ઇન્ડિયનની કોમ્યુનિટી વધુ હોય છે તે જગ્યાએ આવા સેન્ટર ખોલવા માંગે છે અને ફ્રી ઓફ સર્વિસ પ્રોવાઈડ કરવા માંગે છે. ત્યારે 3-4 વર્ષ સુધી 4 વર્ષ સુધી આ સંસ્થાને જ્યારે કોઈ હાથ પકડનારું નતું ત્યારે પોતે ઓફર કરી આ બિલ્ડિંગનું 80,000 થી વાર્ષિક ટેક્સ ભરે છે. છતાં પણ એને આપણા માટે બધું ઘણું કર્યું. $2 લાખ બીજો ખર્ચ છે એક્સપાન્સ કરવાનો છે આ બિલ્ડિંગ. એની પણ એને જવાબદારી લીધી છે કે હું સિનિયરો માટે બધું કરીશ. ત્યારે આપણી ફરજ છે કે જે માણસે 50 વર્ષની જર્ની પૂરી કરી હોય આ દેશમાં અને ઝીરો બેંક બેલેન્સ સાથે જેને અહીંયા દેશમાં પગ મૂક્યો આજે મોટું સામ્રાજ્ય જમાવ્યું છે. અહીંયા માસ્ટર ડિગ્રી કર્યા બાદ એમણે અમેરિકાની અંદર ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક્સ બિઝનેસમાં જપલાયું. એની પાસે 22 એના નામની પેટર્ન પેન્ડિંગ છે અને ત્યાર પછી એને ખૂબ જ પ્રગતિ કરી. આજે જોવું ત્યારે રેગનમાં સલાહકાર બોર્ડમાં પણ એ હતા અને આજે પ્રેસિડેન્ટ આપણા જે ટ્રમ્પ છે એનાથી સૌથી નજીક હોય તો શાલીકુમાર છે. તેણે આરએસસી હિન્દુ રિલીજીયસ કોર્ડિનેશન જે સ્થાપના કરી અને એને કારણે આજે આપણે બધા પોલિટિક્સમાં ખૂબ આગળ છીએ. એ માણસે પાકિસ્તાનની એડ અટકાવી જે મદદ મળતી પાકિસ્તાનને કોઈ પણ રીતે પ્રેસિડેન્ટ સાથે કરી અને એને પાકિસ્તાનને જે પેરિસમાં પૈસા ઉડાવી બધી એડ્સ અટકાવી. આ માણસે ઘણું કર્યું છે કોમ્યુનિટી માટે. અને જ્યારે અહીંયા આટલા વર્ષો થયા હોય તો એના માટે પણ આપણે આજે થોડોક સમય સેલિબ્રેશનમાં ટાઈમ કાઢીએ અને એમને એપ્રિશિએશન કરીએ કે આપણી ફરજ છે. પ્લીઝ કમ ઓન વેરી સોરી કમ ઓન. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because you know, Steve Banner actually live telecast થવાનું છે હમણાં. એટલા માટે થોડીક વાર એટલા માટે કે ભાઈ આપણે એ જોઈ શકીએ અને આપણે બધાને ખ્યાલ છે લાસ્ટ ટાઈમ આપણી મીટિંગમાં અહીં આવ્યા હતા અને મોદી સાથેના નજીકના કોઈના રિલેશન તો શાલીના છે, સ્ટીવ બેનરના છે, બધા આપણે જાણીએ છીએ અને જે બંને દેશોના સંબંધો છે એ ખૂબ એને સારા બનાવ્યા છે. આપણે ટ્રાય કરીએ છીએ હમણાં ત્યારે જરૂર પડે જો સારું ન દેખાય તો લાઈટો ત્યાંથી બંધ કરજો જે છે લાઈટ આગળ દેખાય સૂચના આપવામાં આવે ત્યારે પ્લીઝ this is time for a cake cutting. Please. Payal, can you help here? Bunnaji, aaiye, please. You're welcome. Payal, please come on here.
Journey to USA.
Yes, journey to USA.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Only you can put this thing together. Are you going to have me blow out the candles?
Yeah.
So what is that? You have 5? Only 3. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, no. Of course. That thing goes to first you.
You are going to be here today.
No.
It's all you do. It's just your day, not everyone else's. It's your day.
You can't take too long. That's that is on. Yeah, he's on.
He's started already?
Yes, he's on. Okay. I'm already too fat.
चलो भी खिलाओ
Yes,
हमें भी खिलाओ
that's what I can do.
क्या खाई जा रहे दूसरी को भी खिलानी चाहिए ना
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Okay. Ooh. Okay, yeah, my hero.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations
That's all.
one more
Okay.
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 congratulations
Okay. So, either is speaking?
Either, please. Yeah, lay low, dance.
You will come in front.
No, you can sit.
Huh? No, you can stand here.
Be better for the camera.
You know? Yeah, this you can handle Charlie.
Do you sit or standing?
Right now. Okay. Only interview time. How is it coming? No. Okay, image? Or should I move there? Huh? Hold it. Yep.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually celebrating two major events today, which happens to fall on the same day, August 15th. One is India's Independence Day, and the other is arrival of Mr. Shali Kumar in US. It's a long 50 years journey to US.
Yeah, exactly 3:30 p.m. August 15th, 3:30 p.m. at O'Hare, 1969 on India's Independence Day. Dear friends,
Let me say a few words about Shali Kumar. Mr. Shalabh Shali Kumar, born December 24th, 1948, is a Chicago-based industrialist and philanthropist who was a founding chairman and CEO of AVG Group of companies with operations worldwide. AVG over the last 43 years has invented thousands of new products, lines, and created many new industries in the field of automation, telecommunication, and design and manufacture of advanced electronic components. Mr. Kumar is a 1969 graduate of Punjab Engineering College and credits PEC, particularly Dr. Bajwa, the head of department, for his success as an inventor. Dr. Bajwa had taken a deep interest in Mr. Kumar's interest and passion for practical electronic circuit and product design, not so popular and practical at that time. He immigrated to the United States when he was 20 years with a negative bank balance, attending the Illinois Institute of Technology for his master's, which he was able to complete in just 9 months, once again at the top of his class. Mr. Kumar has 22 US patents, including pending patents to his name. He invented the first microprocessor-based French fry computer for McDonald's, as well as a programmable limit switch, PLS, for the automation industry. He's a specialist in the design of ultra-high-speed circuits, as well as high-frequency radio frequency interference, earning him a nickname of Dr. Noise by his peers. He's recognized as one of the top 100 electronic hardware engineers in the world. Born to a Gandhian freedom fighter, Shalabh Kumar was active in student body at PEC right away from the beginning. In high school, he had founded NACO, National Anti-Corruption Organization, that spread rapidly in North India in his PEC days. He had the gift of a powerful poetic oratory as a teen, So it is not surprising at all to his classmates that he has emerged as the most powerful voice of Hindus in the United States of America and all over the world. He's also a conservative commentator and a foreign policy expert on Southeast Asia, and a community leader, a philanthropist, and a mega political donor. In the last decade alone, he has contributed over 20 million towards these efforts. Mr. Kumar met Ronald Reagan, Jack Kemp, and Don Tarleton in early 80s and came to be known as the first Indian American Republican in the country. Don Tarleton, Reagan's Midwest campaign manager, specifically acknowledged Mr. Kumar's contribution to Reagan victory in 1980. Mr. Kumar later served on a small business advisory council of President Reagan. He ran the Gingrich presidential campaign in Scott County, Iowa in 2012. Mr. Kumar is the founder and chairman of the National Indian American Public Policy Institute, which took a congressional delegation, including House Republican Conference Chair Kathy McMorris Rogers, to India in March 2013 to meet with then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi. His high-profile congressional visit, which came at a time when Modi was banned from entering the United States, ended his isolation from U.S. lawmakers and helped Modi establish relationships within BHP, which bore fruit when he was first selected as a PM candidate and then elected as Prime Minister of India in 2014. In 2014, Mr. Kumar worked with the National Republican Congressional Committee, NRCC, to encourage Indian Americans to run for office and get involved politically. He was also named chairman of the Indian American Advisory Council for the House Republican Conference. In the service of his adopted homeland and serving the interests of Hindu and Indian Americans specifically, Mr. Kumar has become a very successful citizen lobbyist and the Capitol Hill. He, along with a small group of close friends, was successful in cutting off foreign aid to Pakistan starting in 2011 and finishing off in 2018, stopping the $744 anti-Indian immigration bill 2013 in its track in the House of Representatives and stopping the sale gift of 8 nuclear-capable F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan in 2015. Lately, he has been very active in the debate and promotion of immigration bills that are particularly discriminatory to Indian immigrants, affecting the lives of over 1 million high-skilled Indians and the 300,000 children raised in the U.S. In 2016, the Republican Hindu Coalition and Kumar family spent over $4 million to elect Donald Trump. The centerpiece of these efforts was a Bollywood concert and rally in New Jersey in October 15, featuring 9,000 Hindu Americans and a keynote address by Donald Trump. Candidate Trump openly declared that under Trump presidency, U.S. and India would be best friends, that he loves Hindus and India. The RSC created 3 million television ads which aired on Indian networks in the final 3 weeks of the campaign. The RSC also executed a direct mail campaign targeting Hindu American voters in Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina. RSC volunteers placed yard signs throughout the I-4 corridors in Florida and mounted government effort. In the final 3 days of the campaign, the RSC made a large digital buy to target undecided non-Hindu and 8 million voters in Florida, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Ab Ki Baar Trump Sarkar mass campaign with saturated wall-to-wall coverage declared best ad of 2016, viewed by 1.2 billion people worldwide and 60 million non-Hindu Americans shown 40 times a day to 4.2 million Hindu Americans USA, trended as the 9th most important news in the world, went viral on digital media, 9.4 million YouTube impressions, 3 million YouTube views, 6 million impressions on Facebook, 2 million impressions on Twitter, resulting in 26% of conversion rate or 207,000 net vote gain among Hindu American voters in the battleground states and almost 1 million net vote gain across the country. As a minority Trump supporter, Mr. Kumar served as a campaign surrogate, appearing on national television news, including Fox News, as well as in more than 200 national print and online profiles. He also advocated for Trump in 3-hour-long debates on Indian television broadcasts in the U.S. An official poll conducted by Z News concluded that as a result of this unique campaign, over 1 million Hindu American voters switched from Democrat to Republican. Leaders of Trump campaign acknowledged the contribution of Hindu Americans getting Trump elected to the presidency of the United States. As a matter of great pride, President Trump celebrated Diwali on the Oval Office in October 2017 with the leadership of RSC. This was the first time ever that an American president celebrated Diwali in the Oval Office, the seat of power for the most powerful man on this earth. Mr. Kumar takes great pride in describing Bharat as his Janam Bhoomi and the United States of America as his Karam Bhoomi.
Thank you, Haider. So actually, today I'm going to try to speak more Hindi than English. I think you probably like that. So right off the bat, I will totally endorse the idea here that my Janam Bhoomi is Bharat. But my Karam Bhoomi workplace is United States of America. And I often say that I'm so lucky to have migrated to United States of America, a land blessed by God to the extent that 7 founding fathers, so wise, came to United States, landed there, were there at the same time. So many bright people at the same time, and created a system of government that appreciates opportunity, hard work, family values, and became of course, free enterprise that became the superpower, actually the only superpower in the world today. So we are all actually lucky to be here in this country as citizens of this country. अच्छा हिंदी में जाकर अच्छा ये करते हैं बात कि अगस्त 15 में कोई ज्यादा ही बात है कि पहले तो मैं इंडिया की इंडिपेंडेंस हुई, उसके बाद में हुई मैं यहाँ पे आया शिकागो में अगस्त 15 को 3:30 PM में ओहेयर में 50 साल पहले 1969 में, तो उसी में अगस्त 50 में कोई बात होगी। और एक उसके बाद में आपको और भी बताता हूँ। अच्छा ये है जो कैमरा जो है वहां कर देता हूँ। Yeah, just turn it to that, turn it to her. Okay, just turn it to her. So एक और बताता हूँ आपको बात कि जैसे आपको मालूम होगा कि मेरी मुंह बोली बहन धर्म बहन more than bigger than my real sisters, Sharda was born also on August 15th, 1947. So I take this opportunity to, at this point, bring on Skype. He is a foremost supporter of India, Modi, Hindus, and he will be our chief guest for this evening. So let's get Steve Bannon. Let's first of all have some signs for Steve Bannon. Okay. Haribhai. No, that's okay. So what up?
Please, જેની પાસે સ્ટીવ બેનરની સાઇન છે પ્લીઝ ઉપર કરો એટલે પિક્ચરમાં આવી શકે છે. He loves actually being a Hindu, yeah. Yeah, Bannon, Steve બેનરની જેની પાસે સાઇન છે પ્લીઝ સાઇનો ત્યાં મૂકી દીધી બેન. પેલા લઈ ગયા. Okay, that's fine. Okay, પણ જેની પાસે છે એટલી ઊંચી કરો, yeah, that's fine. અને કેમેરો ત્યાં ફેરવો પ્લીઝ. Yeah, જેની પાસે છે કારણ કે એ બીજી મૂકી દીધી આ લોકોએ. Yeah, there is a lot of sign is there. Yeah. Thank you. Because Steve Bannon, actually, he loves Hindu and he loves also our Modi, Prime Minister. Yeah.
Okay, so do we have Steve? Oh, okay, so can we put them on the screen? All right, okay. So Steve, welcome to the Ronald Reagan Center again, and let's hear from you. Audio.
I was seeing.
In the United States.
Yeah, he's coming. Let's see.
So I just like that. Shelley, am I loud enough? Can you hear me? So it was a major, yes, I can hear you pretty well. It was a major event for Shelley to show up, and I gotta tell you, if Shelley Kumar had not come to the United States in 1969 and become through his own hard work and effort the successful entrepreneur he was, and then dedicated so much time to his adopted country, the United States, to get involved in the politics of the Republican Party, and particularly to back entrepreneurs, Donald Trump, in all likelihood, would not have been president of the United States. It was the central involvement of Hindu Americans, over 1 million voting for Donald Trump. That was the key in so many battleground states. So, Shelley, I got to tell you, as the CEO of the campaign, we can't thank you enough. And I know President Trump and everybody associated with the Trump administration thanks you and all the Hindu Americans. I'm also particularly honored today to be invited by this august group to address you on India's Independence Day, and not just to talk about the greatness of India and what a great ally it is to the United States, but in particular to spend a few moments and talk about your Prime Minister Modi, who is one of the most unique world leaders on stage. In fact, it was through Modi's election in 2014 that I was able to meet Shelley Kumar. Let's go back in time. In 2014, when Modi won that election, he was greeted on the world stage almost in shock. He was greeted almost as a pariah. But he had been on to a few years before that banned in the United States. And it was a shock election that he was going to be unacceptable to the world community, and he would not be a very good leader, he would not be a very popular leader, and he would be a failure by the global elites that dismissed him. And if you look at from 2014 on, from his election, what he accomplished, more than any world leader at the time, was a record of just incomparable accomplishments for the Indian people, particularly for working class people and for the poor in India. He became, by 2017, the third most popular in the Gallup poll, the third most popular world leader. And that was purely because of his endeavors. What's most impressive about Modi is that he is a nationalist through and through. He puts the interest of the nation of India and the Indian people first and foremost in every decision he's made. And because of that, he's been an example to Abe in Japan, to Salvini in Italy, to Orbán in Hungary, to Bolsonaro in Brazil, and particularly to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. If you go through some of the sweeping reforms that Modi had in his first term, they're pretty unbelievable. He took the demonetization, the digitization, every effort he took on domestic policy was to support working class people, to cut out middlemen, to cut out corruption. More than any world leader on the world stage, it was Modi that focused on working class people, that focused on the aspirations of the middle class, and worked harder than anybody to achieve those. And if you look at the decreases in inflation, if you look at the decreases in the deficit on every economic indicator you can have, his efforts for the working people and the middle class in India is unparalleled throughout the world. Also remember, when Modi came to the United States, against what all the globalists and the liberal pundits said, he spoke before a joint session of Congress and got what, a 10 or 12-minute standing ovation at the end. It was one of the most extraordinary speeches ever given in Congress in the United States. The campaign that just took place in 2019 was one of the most bitter, vitriolic campaigns on the world stage. Modi's opposition came at him with everything. And what was so stunning, in the largest democracy in the world, an example, India is an example to everybody. Over 600 million votes cast, right? With a de minimis of complaint like you see in the United States of stolen ballots and rigged elections, 600 million. Almost as many people voted for Modi as lived in the United States. I think there was over 230 million votes. The stunning re-election he had reminded people of Ronald Reagan in 1984. In fact, one of the things I'm proudest of is we tracked Modi up in that 2014 election at Breitbart. We were the first journalistic entity, the first website to actually compare Modi to Reagan when he was elected in 2014. We actually said, India's Reagan has finally been elected. And we got that, quite frankly, from Shali Kumar. His re-election, this supermajority, was absolutely stunning, particularly given how tough the campaign was. But here's what I admire most about Modi. He's very straightforward in laying out what his program is. His program is more security for India, greater economic growth for India, and a larger role for India on the world stage. And I can tell you, as a supporter of President Trump, there has not been a better ally we've had than Prime Minister Modi and the people and nation of India. Now, it shouldn't be of any surprise, I think, of what's happened in Kashmir here in the last couple of weeks. The world press is like in total shock. Part of this is obviously the geostrategic interest of the United States in its withdrawal and its wind down in Afghanistan. Remember, when I was in the White House, I was a very big driver in the summer of 2017, and we had to have an ordered withdrawal, at least start to downsize our involvement after 18 years in Afghanistan. That clearly changes the geostrategic equation throughout that region of the world. And I think given the insurgency, given the violence, given the lack of economic progress in Kashmir, it seemed to me that Modi had no other choice but to waive Article 370 and actually try to put forward a program for the betterment of people in Kashmir. What the world press in attacking Modi about this fails to realize is that Prime Minister Modi has done this as much for the people in Kashmir as anywhere else. He wants to see prosperity, he wants to see peace, he wants to see growth. And I think under his leadership, given what he's accomplished in India over the last few years, I anticipate that what you're going to see in Kashmir in the future is the beginning of security, the beginning of peace, and finally the beginning of prosperity. Shali, I couldn't be more appreciative of building a friendship with you over the last couple of years. Our friendship really started with the rise in the election of Prime Minister Modi back in 2014. And I knew when we had you on the radio show in New York City, and when we had you on the page of Breitbart being interviewed or writing articles, and then all the great work you did when I took over the campaign in August of 2016, you really became a partner. And if it was not for you, Shali Kumar, I'm telling you, I don't believe President Trump would have been president of the United States. It was the critical nature of these Hindu-American votes, Indian American votes, that pushed President Trump over the top in many of the battleground states. So I want to thank you for your friendship. I want to thank you for introducing me. For introducing me to India, and introducing me to also understanding Prime Minister Modi better. And I got to tell you, I think Prime Minister Modi, particularly given the situation we've got in Hong Kong, the situation we have in China, I think Japan, India, and the United States are going to be the guarantors of peace and security in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean in decades to come. And that's primarily because of Prime Minister Modi. So, Charlie, thank you very much.
Okay, Steve, can you hear me? Steve? Okay, he can. Okay, good. So, Steve, first of all, thank you so much. You were a big instrument. You were part of having Trump adopt the Hindu community and give a lot more importance to the Hindu community in the halls of Congress, in the White House. It's the first time we started to have the word Hindu. That's where we started. And it goes, the effort was major effort on your part, and you're taking the time in your very busy schedule to participate in this event. We are extremely grateful, appreciative of that for you. And also for some of you, I will maybe say in Hindi also, or maybe Hari Bhai can explain that in Hindi. Sooner or later, Steve, you're gonna have to learn Hindi. Okay, so here, as far as who is ये स्टीव बैनन जो है, आपको बता देते हैं कि कौन है। कि ट्रम्प जो था अगस्त 2016 में पोल्स के हिसाब से बहुत नीचे आ रहा था, 18% के नीचे जो है वो नीचे आ रहा था। अगर वो उस वक्त स्टीव बैनन ने वो नहीं लिया होता इंचार्ज, ट्रम्प ने जो है इसको टॉप कैंपेन ऑफिशियल बना दिया, तो जो उसी वक्त से स्टीव बैनन ने हिंदूज को भी अडॉप्ट किया, तभी रिपब्लिकन हिंदू कोalition, तभी हमारा पार्टिसिपेशन हुई। तो इसलिए अगर स्टीव बैनन प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प का चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर सीईओ बोलते हैं, कैंपेन का नहीं होता, तब प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प प्रेसिडेंट नहीं होते और प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प और मोदी की जो फ्रेंडशिप है वो नहीं होती। तो इसलिए let's give a big round of applause. Let's see some banners out here to Steve Bannon.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Okay, there is. I told you that I'm going to be talking a little bit more about today in Hindi. So it's a very serious subject. पहले तो first time we are having now in a way really 3 celebrations. One celebration, एक तो हुआ इंडिया की इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए, दूसरा हुआ थोड़ा नीचे, मैं यहाँ 50 साल से पहले आया, ओके, और तीसरी जो है बहुत उससे भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बात यह है कि पहली बार अब 72 इयर्स के बाद में 72 इयर्स के बाद में 1947 से 2019 कितने हुए 72 साल के बाद में कश्मीर जो है पहली बार आजाद हुआ है। तो ये जो है ये नहीं होता अगर मोदी नहीं होता। तो बोलते हैं ना, मोदी है तो मुमकिन है। अच्छा, आप जो है कुछ ज्यादा यहाँ पे कश्मीर वगैरह से नहीं है, तो आपको ज्यादा नहीं मालूम होगा, तो मैं थोड़ा बता देता हूँ। पहले तो मैं पंजाब से हूँ, और कई साल वहां पे जहां रहता था बॉर्डर से सिर्फ 12 मील 12 miles away from the border. So I've seen wars. I've seen war of 65 particularly. Pakistani planes used to fly over our head. And we used to go on the top of the roofs instead of going in the basement and flaunting them. To see when they come in and attack us. So anyway, I'm kind of a little silly, but you know, I was a young boy at that time. लेकिन आपको ये बताता हूँ कि ये जो कश्मीर की बात है वो मतलब कि क्यों जो है ये आर्टिकल 370 क्यों निकालना था। अच्छा आपको ये बताते हूँ कि बहुत सीरियस बात है। जनवरी 18 की नाइट, जनवरी 19 की मॉर्निंग कश्मीर वैली में श्रीनगर में 1990 में क्या हुआ, सब बाहर से लाउड स्पीकर में बोल रहे हैं, मॉस से सभी से यही बहुत लाउड जो है स्लोगन आ रहे हैं। पता क्या बोल रहे हैं वो, जागो जागो रूस ने बाजी हारी है, जागो जागो अब रूस ने बाजी हारी है, अब कश्मीर की बारी है। और उसके बाद में और बहुत जो आप उसकी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, उससे किसी के भी आंसू आ जाते हैं। कश्मीर बनेगा पाकिस्तान हिंदू मर्दों के बगैर, पाकिस्तान बनेगा कश्मीर बनेगा पाकिस्तान हिंदू मर्दों के बगैर, लेकिन उनकी औरतों के साथ। So all this history of Kashmir is the radical Islam for all these years. You see, the West has learned about the radical Islam only in the last 20, 30 years or so. But Hindu nation, India, has seen radical Islam for the last 1,000 years. And when you see actions like this, I see a girl here in tears. I assume you probably are from Kashmir. So you know, I mean, everybody would tear up. So you know what the women? This was the first time women, जो औरतों से लड़के जो थी, उनको क्या करना पड़ा? जो पाकिस्तान के जो मतलब जो पाकिस्तान के आर्मी के और के जो रेडिकल इस्लामिस्ट हैं, उन्होंने क्या किया? उन्होंने ये किया कि सभी हिंदुओं के पंडितों के उनके घर तोड़े। उसके बाद दरवाजा तोड़ने के बाद उन्होंने जब लड़कियों का अटैक किया उनके ऊपर, तब उनको मालूम हो गया लड़कियों को, तब जो सब जो है मैन जो थे पंडित जो थे कश्मीरी पंडित, उन्होंने क्या किया कि वो लड़कियों को स्टोर में क्लोजेट में छुपा देते। अब कैसे छुपाते? तो लड़कियों ने पता क्या किया? Over 20,000 women self-immolated. Just that night. तो अगर मोदी ने अब इसको ठीक किया है, तो उसमें क्या गलत बात है? Okay, so I think we're going to turn to Steve again to ask you some questions.
Charlie, the first question I have is I just said earlier that we had two great events in the United States in the summer of 1969, the moon landing and the arrival of Shali Kumar to the United States.
Thank you. I don't think I deserve that adoration, but coming from you is great.
Shali, but tell us, I think what I like most about the story, and I'd like to hear a little bit more of it, how you got off the plane and you had negative net worth, you had virtually no cash in your pocket and you had no savings. Tell us what it was like when you first got to the United States. Given the success you are today, Did you have a vision that you would make it this big, or what were your thoughts when you first arrived?
Well, actually, what happened, Steve, in 1969, in the final year, you have to start thinking, oh, now I got to go into workforce. What am I going to do? There are no jobs there in India. And at that time, corruption was rampant. And you know, my mother was totally anti-corruption. And so I could not imagine working for a day in India. So I decided to come to United States. So for that, you needed a scholarship and you needed some money. And our family did not have any money. So they had to show that we had the money. So all our friends and relatives, they put the money in a bank account and show that we have the money. So, so then we come to, I come to the United States. Now the money has to be returned. So I am minus $5,000. So, you know, I was interested in many things. First, of course, the biggest thing was electronics. You know, it was very hard to invent in Punjab Engineering College, which where I was from, because you know the availability of components and all that was not there. And here I came to a land where you could design, and actually Manny probably saw that. He was part of this when he was working at AVG. That's Shada's husband, my brother-in-law, and he saw that we were able to design. I'm pretty good at sketching out a hardware circuit design. So I design a circuit. It takes me like a day or two to design a circuit, which other companies take like 2 years to design. But I was in an environment where I will see a product every 2 weeks. Every month I'll see a product. So I've developed over 1,000 different products. And at that point, that's what I did. I just loved inventing products. Of course, the FlexFry computer and PLS and all that came about from there. But I just, at that time, I was not thinking business. I was not thinking politics. I was just thinking of design, design, design. So that's kind of my story from there. And then, of course, what happened was, I won't bore you too much with that story, but I was inventing so many products that the owner of the company, National Controls, he did not want to let me go, and they made me a partner for nothing, no money. So I'm a partner there, and the company became so successful in a few years. They said, "Why don't you just buy this company?" I said, "I don't know how to run a company. I know only how to design." "Oh, we'll teach you how to design. I mean, how to run the company." So they actually managed to finance, set the purchase price, and everything themselves. Could not have better bosses than John Alexander. No, John Ruzier. I'm sorry, John Ruzier and Gus Kuschewski. They were my two bosses, and they helped me become the owner of AVG. That is what is great about America. Here, the talent is what matters.
Charlie, if you had to boil it down to one lesson you've learned since you came over here virtually as a penniless young engineer, and you've been such an enormous success, if you had to take it down to one lesson that you've learned, what's the lesson that you ascribe your success to?
Believe in yourself, and nothing is impossible. My mother used to say, when we were growing up, that's what we learned from my mother. And of course, I saw it practiced here rather than in the Janambhumi, rather than in India. I saw it here that, she would tell us that, you know what? We are the ones who invented zero. We are the ones who invented decimal point. Who says that we can't do this? We can go on the moon. We can do all these things. And you can do whatever you believe in. And that came into practice in my Karambhumi workplace, the United States of America.
Shelley, how do you balance? You're one of the most patriotic Americans I've ever met. Yet I know you're also patriotic and a great believer and a lover of your native country of India. Talk to us about that.
Well, for 20 years, I was in India. I grew up in India, and my mother was a freedom fighter. So, of course, I have a lot of affinity for India. And by the way, she was not too happy when I told her that I'm coming to the United States, because she, as a total patriotic Hindu Indian, wanted me to just stay there. But after a few years, when she started seeing that, how I could help not only Americans create jobs, and as well as be a help to India. Particularly, she was most appreciative of the fact, a couple of things. One is I started scholarships in Punjab Engineering College, where I came from, and also then on the political side, when we cut off foreign aid to Pakistan, then she said, "Well, I think it was worth it that you went there." So she was also, by the way, a big supporter of Modi.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. The way we met is even before the election in 2014. You approached me when I was running Breitbart to talk to me about Modi, and you said, "Look, this is the Reagan of India." What did you see in Modi before he won in 2014? How did you really understand what his greatness would be?
Okay, actually, for that also, there's a story here. Is Bhailal here? No, okay. So, what was happening? Okay, I was engaged in a campaign to cut off foreign aid to Pakistan, convincing congressmen to do that. In that process, I was going to Punjabi community, I was going to Arya Samaji community, I was lots of different communities, and you know what? Where I found the biggest support? Gujarati community. And I figured out over there by talking to Bhailal. He says, this chief minister of Modi, I had not heard the name Modi before 2013. So, no, I'm sorry, before 2012, let's say summer of 2012. And then I started to study up on Narendra Modi, and I see that he is a really totally dedicated man. He eliminated corruption, because that was my heart subject. Corruption from Gujarat. Gujarat was prospering dramatically, and he could bring the same thing to entire India. There are so many families in India in politics who just want to enrich themselves. And Modi, you could tell, was not a person who has any interest in anything other than Bharat. So that's what attracted me to him. I went there. Some people here arranged a meeting for me to meet with Chief Minister. I was actually good friends with Nitin Gadkari, and he was at that time president of Bharatiya Janata Party, which actually fields the prime ministerial candidates. So he said that we have a candidate who is just dynamite. If we could solve only one problem, that problem is that he is isolated from the United States. He's not allowed to travel to the United States. His visa is banned because of a fake 2002 news. We have all learned the fake news here in the United States. That was 2002 was a fake news. Because of that, and Western media, he was not allowed in the United States. He said, if you could bring in a delegation, a senior congressional delegation to visit him, then that diplomatic isolation will be finished. And then that's what we did in March of 2013. And that ended his diplomatic isolation. Gadkari was confident enough to then propose his name as the Prime Minister of India. So that's how our relationship developed.
Shelley, I know in the coming days and weeks ahead, not just with op-eds you're writing and editorials you're writing, but I know you're going to be doing radio and media to explain to the American people exactly what's going on. Because talking about fake news, I think the spin that's coming from the mainstream media about what's happening in India now is totally wrong. How would you explain to an American audience the history of Kashmir in India and how that can be explained about what Prime Minister Modi, the actions you just took?
Yeah, you see, it's very important for Western audiences, Western media, Western, just the population. You know, we could talk among ourselves. That's not enough. We need to broadcast it out to people. Whereas Western people, Western civilization has seen radical Islam again only for the last 20, 30 years. India, Hindu nation, has seen, again, once I repeat it, radical Islam for the last 1,000 years. I have to educate, I want to educate the people of America, particularly of Genghis Khan, Ghaznavi, Gauri, Aurangzeb, Babur. Pardon me, maybe give me some more names. Huh? No, Humayun was sort of okay. Okay, Khilji. So Alauddin Khilji. So all these people, what is their pattern? The pattern is this. No, this is, we are talking about different. Okay, Kashmir. Okay, so the pattern is very similar for the last 1,000 years. These radical Islamists are very brutal people. They love brutality. Again, you have to go back 1,000 years to know how brutal they are. You know, how many people have to be taught this? They, who was that? Ghaznavi or Gauri or Khilji? Who was that who loved Padmavati? Khilji. So Khilji is a beautiful Hindu woman, the princess of Chittor, and he loves her picture. He just wants to have her. So for that, he destroyed, like at that time, 200,000 or so lives, just for that. So their pattern is total brutality. For whatever reason, you are beautiful women. They love Hindu women, but they treat the women as second-class citizens. Okay, so that's their pattern. So what they did in Kashmir, 1947. Okay, this will take a little bit of time. I'll try to speed it through. And in 1947, British set up the rule that the ruler of the state will decide where they want to go. Maharaja Hari Singh, a Hindu king, decided to go to India. And now the British have also proposed to Jinnah that if there is a majority Muslim population or majority any population, just like Hyderabad on the other side, then there will be a plebiscite. Jinnah and Pakistan did not accept that proposal. What they wanted to do was to take Kashmir by force. Some of you probably here from Gujarat, you may not know that. Kashmiris will know that. Punjabis will know that. Pakistan organized Operation Gulmarg. Operation Gulmarg 6 months before the partition. They knew exactly what they're going to do. And if they take a vote, they will lose that. Maharaja Hari Singh, they will lose that. So how to get Kashmir? Just get it by force. Same pattern. Just say they organized 20 Lashkars. Each Lashkar had 1,000 members. So 20,000 people. Pakistani army came in and attacked the Kashmiris, the Hindus there, and wanted to take over Kashmir. And Maharaja Hari Singh then said to India, help. Then the Indian army went there, and this is also the same pattern, by the way, that Indian Army, brave men, they come there, and if I may say so, I don't know if it's politically right, they kick their asses. So, but we are also so nice that what we do is the Indian forces, they capture and then they turn it back because they're so nice. Just as an example, in 1947, in 1948, January 1948, while the India and Pakistan is having this war, Mahatma Gandhi, he was really a saint. He says, Muslims are your younger brothers, You gotta really treat them right. You gotta treat them right, love. You gotta show them love. So they are attacking India, and what Mahatma Gandhi, he went on fast to death to give them $55 billion while Pakistan is attacking India. So this is the pattern what we have to actually tell the Western audiences, the history, that they conducted 4 wars, 1965, 1971, and then 1999, Kargil. And all those wars, the same pattern, same brutality, same everything. And then Indian Army finally gets involved when they get triggered so much, and then they take it back, and then we turn it back to them. But hopefully, this time with Modi, it's going to be different. Okay, so go ahead, Steve. Sorry, I get too emotional about this, so I talk a lot.
Well, Shali, it's great, particularly I know that it's going to be very important for people in the United States to understand this. And can you explain for a second why the abrogation of Article 370? Why is it in the best interest of the nation and people of India, the United States, and the people in Kashmir?
You see, what happened is in 72, again, we tried to be, let's show love to the other people, and we adopted this Articles 370 and 35A, which essentially froze the whole community of Kashmir, all the people of Kashmir, as if 1948, 49, 50 never came. They froze in medieval times, whereas India was making all these different rules. They were not applicable. All the laws of India were not applicable to the people of Kashmir. And for example, minimum wage. For example, health insurance. The world has moved in the last 72 years, except Kashmir. So now, and Kashmir is a beautiful place, beautiful people, and then now it's going to get rehabilitated, and the laws, they will all have the protection of the Constitution of India. So obviously, there is going to be a huge progress. That's why the abrogation of this article is great.
Shali, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's a great explanation. I think the audience should know is you're running more op-eds, you're writing more editorials, you're going to be doing radio, and I think TV over the next couple of weeks to explain this to the American people. It'll be fantastic.
I would like you to talk to, just for a couple of minutes, Manny Sherman. Manny, would you come here, please? He firsthand experienced 1947. He was 3 years old. He was 3 years old when the Pakistani army marched into their homes.
Manny, could you describe that? You were actually there in 1947. What was it like? What did your family tell you? What were the stories about the attack?
That's the time we got attacked. I'm a resident of Punch State, was a part of JNK. And I was only 3 years old, so I don't remember anything myself. But when I grew up later on, I heard the stories from my parents. So what happened at that time, they attacked us. There was no army. India has not gotten involved yet with Kashmir. So there was nobody to protect us. So the local militia, they told us to get out of the homes and leave them as soon as possible. So a lot of my family, A lot of members of the family were killed, burnt alive, women raped. So stories I heard are painful. Okay. This is how Kashmir problem started. As Charlie said, Pakistan didn't want to go by the rules. They wanted to just acquire Kashmir, so they attacked. And then when India got involved a short time later, in August of 1947, so Indian Army went there and they pushed them back. We regained a lot of the territory, and Pakistan was losing. So they went to UNO for protection. They said, listen, I mean, India has attacked us, whereas the truth was the other way around. So there was a ceasefire. And at that time, the UN said, listen, Pakistan should withdraw from the territory which they have occupied. And once they do that, you can have a plebiscite and let the people decide which way they want to go, India or Pakistan. But what happened thereafter? As Charlie said, they never left their territory. So my home is still in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir. And so plebiscite could not be done until they get out of there. So plebiscite never happened. They actually tried to get Kashmir back again by attacking JNK 4 times. So every time they were defeated. So that's where we are. Meanwhile, this T-17 was holding the progress of Jammu and Kashmir because there was no industry going there. There was nothing happening. Actually, there are only a few corrupt families. Most of the monies they were stealing from the people. They are backward. They still don't have the progress which India has seen. We have sent rockets to the moon, but Kashmir is still living in medieval ages. You have any questions?
Manny, why did you emigrate to the United States, and what year did you emigrate?
I came here in 1969, the same year as Charlie did. I came 6 months before him. So we met at IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology, which is in the engineering college in Chicago. And I married his sister later on. And I had not even seen the young lady. He talked about her to me, and I said, "Listen, if that's what it is, we were close friends. That's okay." So what happened? My parents went over. I told them, "Listen, why don't you go and meet the family of this young lady and tell me if everything is okay, and if everything is okay, we'll proceed." So they went there to see her for only a day. They stayed there for almost 2 weeks. So confirming that everything was as is. So we got married later on. She came to United States in January of 71. I had not even met her. First time I met her was at the airport. All right, Steve, looks like we are running out of time here. So,
what are your thoughts about the abrogation of 370 and how that'll affect India-Pakistan relations?
Naturally, Pakistan is not so happy about it because they wanted to have India occupy Kashmir by unfair means. That's what they've been trying by war. They've tried war 4 times already. They have been bleeding India for the last since 1947 by spreading terrorism in Pakistan.
Well, Manny, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, Steve, I think we are going to probably be running a little bit late. And so we are going to end this again. Thank you so much for taking the time to address this crowd. So let's just show one more time more love to Steve Bannon.
Charlie, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Greatly honored.
Thank you. Okay, bye now.
Yeah, please, this is too much late, but okay, now આપણે બધા શાલી કુમારને ફ્લાવર આપીશું જેમની પાસે સર
आपकी जो है ना बहुत पेशेंस थी, दिस इज वेरी गुड, लेकिन आपको ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि इसकी क्या जरूरत थी। जो आप जो काम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे बैठ के सुन रहे हैं, तो इसकी क्या जरूरत है? क्योंकि वेस्टर्न मीडिया को नहीं मालूम है तो जब आप यहाँ होते हैं तो उनसे उनको मालूम है कि कितने जो यहाँ के जो लोग हैं ये इंडिया में नहीं हिंदू अमेरिकन जो है वो क्या बोल रहे हैं। तो आपकी आवाज सारी दुनिया में हमने जानी चाहिए और उसका काम जो है वो हम कर रहे हैं, स्टीव बैनन कर रहा है और हमारे साथी कर रहे हैं और हरी भाई कर रहे हैं।
હું હરિભાઈને વિનંતી કરું શાલી કોમલ મુખલાલ સાથે સ્વાગત કરું.
પછી અમારા સિનિયર ગ્રુપ તરફથી નાનકડી छोटी सी गिफ्ट है शाली कुमार के प्लीज एंड रक्षित आशीष मिले. What is that? There is such prize from our members. Yeah. Please. Now, please, Krishna Balsam, please come on stage. Actually, you know, he's a very closest friend of Shali Kumar. Please, he will give flower. Yeah, flower लेता है और हाथ में दीजिए. तो बच्चा flower क्या पकड़िए?
Shelly ji, first of all, congratulations and we commend your leadership. You are an inspiration. I don't know how many people really realize Shelly ji से बड़ा हिंदू लीडर अमेरिका में कोई नहीं हुआ है जो इस ऊंचाई तक पहुंचा है. इसमें शैली जी ने जिस हद तक प्रेसिडेंट कांग्रेसमैन सेनेटर्स जितने लोगों तक अपने इंडिया की और इंडियंस की समस्याओं को ले जाकर सॉल्व कराए कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता. आई एम टेलिंग यू इतनी ऐसी चीजें जो आप लोगों को मालूम नहीं है. दिन रात वहां बैठ के कितना काम करते हैं और हिंदुओं के लिए बहुत लोग हिंदुओं की बात करते हैं. हम सब हिंदू हैं लेकिन ये ऐसे एक इंसान है जो फियरलेस लीडर जिसे हम बोलते हैं किसी के भी आगे जाके कहीं भी किसी भी भीड़ में जाके और क्लेम करते हैं कि मैं हिंदू हूँ और हिंदुओं के लिए खड़ा हूँ. शैली जी थैंक यू सो मच जो आप हमारे लिए करते हैं. यू आर एन इंस्पिरेशन. हम आपसे वो सीखते हैं जो आप हमारे लिए कर रहे हैं, इंडिया के लिए कर रहे हैं, इंडियंस के लिए कर रहे हैं, इंडिया के बच्चों के लिए कर रहे हैं. आप जो हमारे डालका किड्स एक यहाँ पे आए भी हुए अभी आपसे मिलवाएंगे उन्हें. और जो बच्चे हैं इंडिया के जिनको वीजा नहीं मिल रहा है, जिनका ग्रीन कार्ड अटका हुआ है, जिनके पेरेंट्स का ग्रीन कार्ड अटका हुआ, बच्चों का स्टेटस से बाहर हो रहे हैं, उनके लिए कितना काम कर रहे हैं. इंडिया के तो बात ही अलग है. एनीवेज सो थैंक यू अगेन. और रही बात इंडिया की, मोदी जी की, आर्टिकल 370 हुआ, कश्मीर अब फाइनली हमारा हुआ, इंडिया का पार्ट पूरी तरह से हुआ. 3 तलाक का निपटा. अभी तो कॉमन कोड, कॉमन सिविल कोड और पूरा इंडिया एक. अभी बहुत चीजें और आने वाली हैं, देखते जाइए. सो थैंक यू शैली जी. वी ऑल आर विद यू. वी यू कीप ऑन गिविंग द डायरेक्शन. वी विल गो विद यू.
थैंक यू.
So Jayashree, please come on stage. She is coming with her husband. Please come on here. मैने जी प्लीज, मैने जी, वंदना जी, ब्रिज जी, तिवारी जी प्लीज आप आइए के बाद ये प्लीज कम.
2010 में यात्रा शुरू किया था. And when this crazy guy, I mean always passionate not about him but the passion that he has, and that is called a Hindu factor, and I owe to that. Thank you very much. ये जो भी करते हैं, नाराज भी बहुत होती, लड़ते भी हूँ, आज भी लड़ रही हूँ, मैसेज टाइप किया है, बट लेकिन कभी कभी त्याग करना पड़ता है. Thank you for all the Kashmiri brothers and sisters also came in. I really appreciate it. Love you.
प्लीज आइए केम्पा जी प्लीज. या मैंने जी, मैंने शर्मा प्लीज कम ऑन स्टेज. एक्चुअली प्लीज भैया आप आ जाइए आपकी मिसेस के साथ. प्लीज प्लीज वॉच योर स्टेप. ओके या जिनको जोशना बैक प्लीज कम ऑन. नीरव प्लीज कम ऑन स्टेज. जिनके पास फ्लावर गोवर्धन प्लीज. केम्पा जी को मैंने बोला या पर भाई वन एक्चुअली प्लीज जैसे जगह होती है प्लीज आइए. Sorry, this program is little bit longer and we are late, but it will work out. Yeah. या प्लीज कम ऑन स्टेज कश्मीरी पर। देखो कश्मीरी लोगों ने क्या, पंडित जी हमारे साथ है बहुत सारे लोग, जब ये बात करे तो उसकी आंखों में आंसू निकल रहे थे। देखो उस दिन कैसा होगा, उसने पेरेंट्स या उसके फोर फादर कितना उसने सहन किया होगा। प्लीज कम ऑन स्टेज एवरीवन प्लीज। જયંતિભાઈ ગોઠવવાનો સમય ના જાય, જેમ ફોટા પડતા હોય ફટાફટ પાડતા જાઓ, કોઈ જરૂરી નથી, લગ્નના ફોટોગ્રાફ નથી। યા એટલે ડોન્ટ વરી, ગો ફાસ્ટ, ડોન્ટ સેટ અપ સ્ટેજ। યા થેન્ક યુ। હવે આપણે આપણો પ્રોગ્રામ ચાલુ કરીએ છીએ, રેક્સ ડે સર। યસ
કેમ છો? મને